Okay, you guys are in for a special treat because the guest I have on today is none other but my beautiful sister, Britta.
Hey.
Thanks for being on today.
Yeah, of course.
So I usually tell the guests about right now that they can share how we know each other or what their background is. So any embarrassing stories you want to share or any connections from our upbringing?
Do you remember that one time when you stole my clothes?
That one time?
Yeah.
There were more than one. Okay, so if you saw us standing next to each other, Britta is 6'1" and I'm 5'9", and so she was taller than me. I don't know, pretty young.
I think when I was in 8th or 9th grade.
Yeah. So I was like nearing the end of high school, and yeah, she was already taller than me, and so it was very interesting. And she's always had better fashion sense than me.
Just different, not necessarily better.
Or a better understanding of how to look for it. And I've always been insecure with fashion. And so, yeah, I'd browse in her closet. And
I just remember this one time when I didn't let you borrow my clothes and you got very mad. And then you was like, well, then I'm not going to wear anything today. Of course you did. You eventually got over it, but
I think Mom even lent me one of her shirts.
Yeah.
But I was determined to go in a bra.
Yes, that is what you said. You're like, I'm just going to wear this sports bra to school then. I'm like, whatever, you're not wearing my clothes, whatever, just wear what you want.
Yeah. We'll say this. Growing up, Britt and I were not on the best of terms with each other. But after college, for both of us, we have learned a lot about ourselves and each other. And I think you're actually probably my best friend, second to Jeff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, imagine we grew up and matured a little bit.
Right.
And luckily that brought us closer together.
And she was the one to help instigate the idea of us moving to St. George. She'd kind of throw out little teasers and say, you could just move down here.
Yes.
I can go look at these houses for you.
Yeah. You can stay in my basement until you guys figure out where you want to live. Yeah. It's been pretty great. We're very different in personality, but I feel like we complement each other well.
For sure. And if you didn't see a picture, for those of you listening on the audio version, we don't look alike. She looks a lot more like our mom's side, and I look a lot more like our dad's side, but we sound a lot alike.
Yeah. I feel like that's our biggest similarity.
Yeah.
That and our eye color. We both have really pretty blue eyes.
Sure, yeah. And it's fun. I think we can be complementary because Britta is really good at making sure things are done well, like really well. And so I actually look to her a lot for that motivation to keep pushing hard and doing a good job with it. And what do you draw from me? I don't know.
Looking at the bigger picture and trying to see other people's perspective. She's very good at gently putting me in my place when I'm only considering my perspective when I'm upset. And she's very good at helping me understand why I need to think more about the other person and what they might be going through, and that it's not all about me. I am the youngest, so I do tend to think that way. But she's very good at looking at the broader perspective, bringing Christ into that perspective, and trying to be more Christ-like and loving and understanding towards others.
Thank you. I think it helps that you already have a compassionate heart. And since we're always trying to be good people anyway, just sometimes there's heat of the moment frustration that it's easier just to be like, no, you already know this. Yeah. I'll just share what you already know.
And I do appreciate that she's not scared to put me in my place, because I feel like there's others that are. Because, I can be a little rough sometimes. I will fully admit it. I have my faults. But
should we talk about our brothers?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay, so there are 5 of us in the family, and it goes boy, boy, me, boy, her. And we all have Scandinavian names. And my mom thought that it would be awesome for everyone to do water polo and swimming, but not for me. I just did swimming. But okay, maybe this is more you than brothers, because the brothers are definitely competitive and they're amazing in their competition. But Annie Oakley over here,
I was so competitive with my brothers. I wanted to do everything they can do, but with more awards, more accolades, longer, better.
And she did most of the time, actually.
I definitely worked really hard at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. For better and for worse.
And I think it was like motivation competition.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they would put me in my place too and make sure that I understood that, like, I'm a girl, things are different.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. I like trying to keep up with my bros.
And I think my favorite thing about her being Annie Oakley is she just owns it. It's just who she is. In fact, she got a T-shirt when she had was with babies and young kids that said, "Anything you can do, I could do while breastfeeding."
Yeah, I still have that shirt, and even though I'm not breastfeeding anymore, I still wear it sometimes because
awesome.
Proud of that.
Yeah,
I've opened many a door while child suckling,
and it's awesome. It's just own it.
Yep.
It's who you are, right?
Yep.
So, tell us a little bit about your family. Like, tell us about your kids and your husband.
Sure. Yeah. So we do have kind of an interesting dynamic in our family. I'm 6'1". My husband is 7'3", and that already puts us in a very unique position, especially within just our country. I think that puts us in a like top 3 married couples in combined height. But our children are also tall accordingly. And yeah, it's really interesting. Like our son is almost 13. He hasn't hit any big growth spurts yet, and he's probably about 6 feet tall.
He was so excited to tell me when he was taller than me.
Yes. He keeps thinking he's taller than me, and I'm like, no, you haven't got me yet. Probably within the year, but you haven't got me yet. But yeah, all their predicted heights, if they hit all of their heights as projected right now, I will definitely be the shortest. So we have boy, girl, and then from oldest to youngest, the projected heights right now are 7'1", 6'9", 6'11", and 6'4", 6'5" for our daughter. And yeah, so I can wait until then. I don't want them to grow up so fast, but it will be so interesting when we are all together out in public.
Yeah.
Which is also one reason why we actually don't go out into public very often.
When you guys were first married and you'd go to Disneyland, you played a game, didn't you? Like,
yes, we had the HTAY count. How tall are you? How many times David, my husband, gets asked in a day. I think our top day was 12. He got us 12 times.
And I can imagine that's just the people brave enough to say something.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine the head double take would be at least double that.
Yeah, I need to put like a GoPro on my chest walking behind him and just videotape all the rubberneckers. Like some people have legit almost tripped over themselves just trying to. Yeah. It's definitely, it's a different life.
But you know what's interesting for me being the sister and sister-in-law is just seeing how humble they are about it too. It's like, well, it's just who I am. So here I am. And yes, the first maybe whole year, every time I'd see David, I'd think I was going to look up more for sure. But then I'd always have to make my eyes go even higher than I thought I'd have to look up. And so that first year was a little bit of an adjustment, but he is like very kind and super funny, and he's super fun to play games with, whether it's at the table or out in sports. And it just makes it where like you think someone who's different would be different too, but no, he's like one of the most well-rounded, down-to-earth guys you'll ever meet.
It's true.
Super.
Very true.
Awesome.
He's pretty great.
Yeah.
I agree.
Good.
Yeah.
So, you want to tell us about how you clothe your children because they're so tall and thin.
Yes. So I'm quite the resourceful person. As she mentioned, I have this Annie Oakley attitude where I just kind of want to figure things out if I need to.
And figuring them out really well, nicely.
Yes, if I'm going to jump into something, it has to be done like on a professional level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I was pregnant with our third daughter, I had known prior to her that
third son.
Thank you. Let me take 2 steps back. When I was pregnant with our daughter, our only daughter, I knew that I would need to sew my kids' clothes because there just would not be any standard clothing out there for them. They are tall, they are thin, not like super thin, but like enough.
How old was David or Daniel when you were pregnant with Lena?
8 or 9.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's always been super tall, and that's about the time when he was really starting to thin out more. So I just dove into sewing, especially since I was so sick during her pregnancy. I needed something to distract myself. So I posted on Facebook, is there anyone local that can help me thread my sewing machine? Because I don't know how to thread this machine that I've had for like 10 years that never came out of the box. She bought it for me for our wedding, and it stayed in a box for 10 years until we finally got in a place where I could bring it out of its box. So my neighbor across the street came over and showed me how to thread the needle on my machine and how to sew a little bit. I already had some experience. Our Grammy Zola taught me a little bit when I was like 10 years old, around that age.
Did you do anything with Young Women's Personal Progress with her?
No, I can't remember any of that. I just remember sewing an apron with her when I was younger. So I kind of had an idea. And so I just jumped in and I started practicing on different types of fabrics, different types of stitches. And then a generous family member gifted me a serger. And I didn't know how to use that one either. And that one looked just big and scary to me. So I actually hired someone off Facebook that was local to come and teach me how to use my specific serger. And I just took off after that. Like I was determined to learn as many techniques as possible. And now I'm sewing all my kids' pants, not all of them. I still buy some of their stuff. Luckily, we live in St. George where it's like shorts weather 9-10 months of the year. So I don't have to worry about pants as much. But they're swim trunks. Like if you imagine, they have to have a longer rise in their pants so that they don't show off their butt cracks. Their shorts have to be a little bit longer if they want them to be. Or the shirts especially, they're not wide children. So I take their chest measurement, but I usually have to have like 5 or 6 inches in the length of their shirts. So the swimsuits, especially for my daughter, she needs the longer torso. And yeah, and I've made stuff for David too. I remember his coat.
Oh yeah, the shacket.
Yes, I made him a shacket. Took 9 yards of fabric to make him this shacket because it was lined. And he puts it on and he's like, this is amazing. And he goes to put his hands in his pockets and he's like, where are the pockets? And I said, where they're supposed to be. But he's like putting them in at his waist because that's where he's used to the pockets being in standard clothes because it's not made for his length. And so I was like, just move your arms down a little bit where they are supposed to be on a normal person. And he's like, oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah. That is so cool. And when you look at her, do you remember your first outfit that you made or piece of clothing that you made versus where you are now?
Oh, yes. It was my daughter's first Easter is the thing that I've kept. It was this little romper, and it was so bad. All the gathering is like so wonky. It's gathered more in one place, and then there's like no gathering, and then there's some over here, and like the the seams don't even line up, and but I kept it because I like to see
progression,
what I'm putting in her now, and how, I mean, I can't say this last Easter was perfect because that was a rush job, but like last year and the year before, just to see the improvement that I've made just by diving into something,
for sure,
and wanting to be the best that I can at it.
And it really is high quality. Like, she's made stuff for our kids too. And in fact, she has such high quality that she decided, why not try and serve others with this talent that I have? So you want to share a little
Sure,
bit?
yeah. So I do sew for others. Sometimes I have a booth at our local farmers market. I love sewing swimsuits. I actually have a lot of other tall families that have contacted me so I can make swimsuits for them and their kids that need theirs long and thin as well. And so it's been really nice to be able to kind of spread that joy that comes with a well-fitting swimsuit. Like when you have a swimsuit that actually really fits you, the confidence that you get from that is like, it's
off the charts.
It's,
you feel like not naked, but like you feel like in your skin. Like you don't have to keep shuffling things around. You could just feel comfortable in it.
Yeah.
Because she takes, when people put in orders with her, she takes their measurements. And so whatever style they choose together, it will fit to their measurements. And if they're local, she'll even have them try it on just to make sure that it fits well too.
Yeah.
So you have a business name. What is your business name?
Love Zola.
Yay.
So Zola is our Grammy who taught me how to sew, and that I mentioned earlier. She was the best Grammy. I learned how to love from her. She was like the ultimate Christ-like service person. She was like their neighborhood Grammy.
Mm-hmm. She'd go over to people's homes when they just had their baby and say, you go take a nap, I'll hold your baby, and just care for them so that they could go and sleep somewhere.
Yeah. And she was the one that told us that you can taste a difference when you put more love into something, or you can feel the difference when you put more love into something. And so that's what I strive to do all the time when I'm sewing or when I'm baking or making meals for my family, is just to put all the love into it.
Yeah. She said her secret ingredient was love. In fact, our mom said that all the time too, that everything she did, her secret ingredient was love. And our mom, so our dad's a dentist, and he now was teaching more seminars than doing the office lab type work. And when the doctors would come to their house to attend their seminars, they loved having them at their home, because then our mom's job was to cook for them and to make sure they didn't come into the house more than 5 feet without a hug from her and a welcome. And she made a soup lineup every time, and they said, this is so good. In fact, she would say one of the doctors asked her for her pizza soup recipe, and she gave it to him, and he went back and tried it and came back and it said, but it doesn't taste like yours. And she would say, does it have your special ingredient in it? And he was befuddled and, no, what's that? And she said, love. Did you put love into your recipe? And it took him a minute to really understand what that means. Like, how do I pour love into this, And she said, no, you have to like emotionally, while you're making it, add your love to the dish, and you can really taste a difference.
Yep.
So, and in Britta's baking, she has had some gut issues in the past that she's worked so hard, like inspiringly hard, to understand and navigate and care for her body. But she decided to learn how to make the best sourdough you can make. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of good sourdough out there. And I think what makes hers great is not just the fact that it's sourdough, but she uses the highest quality ingredients, and she never uses machines. It's always done by hand and love.
Yeah. That's why I won't make more on a day than I can physically, because I will not make it with a machine.
Yeah.
I want to feel the dough. I want to feel that it's right, and I want to feel the love that goes into each one of them. And I do like a small batch for my neighbors that purchase from me, and they know that it's all made just for them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm very picky about the flour I use, the salt I use. Like, everything is very thoughtfully done before making each loaf.
And lest you guys worry, I can never live up to Britta's amazingness. I'm in the same boat with you. And I am super grateful that I live local to her because, for example, this week we have been dealing with the after effects of a flood in our basement, and she came over and brought us a chocolate croissant sourdough loaf for us.
So good.
It was amazing, and it hit the spot because we needed a little comfort.
Yes. But she did let me have some.
Yes.
Because that was the first time I had ever made it. And I thought, this is I've made just a croissant, a regular croissant flavor. And I was like, are you okay if I like add in some chocolate chips?
Twist my rubber arm.
Yeah. And so I did, and I'm like, are you okay if I like taste test it before I bring it over? And so I did. And all my kids and I got one bite of one piece before I brought it over. And I was like, holy cow, this is amazing. Yeah. And so we brought it over, and there was hopefully enough for you guys.
There was. And I may have made sure that I rationed out where everyone could have some, and then I had my own, but it was great. And I will say it was tasty for sure, but Britta's bread always brings love. And so the comfort isn't just from the flavor and the quality, but also from the love.
Yeah.
So her love's pretty incredible. Her 6'1" hugs, pretty amazing.
Yes. People just like to fit right in here and give them the hugs.
So good. So good.
It's fun.
Well, we could talk all day and we enjoy it, but here comes our last two questions. So Britta, what makes you beautiful? And as a reminder, when I define beauty, it has a lot less to do with color, shape, or size, and a lot more to do with your divine identity.
Sure. So I'm going to kind of refer back to one thing that my husband told me last year for Mother's Day, what he loves about me. He loves that I don't put other people's opinions on who I should be. Mm. I just am who I am, and it doesn't always meet up with the surrounding people that I'm in. It might not meet up with other maybe cultural aspects, but I know who I am. I know what I like to do. I know what makes me feel right. And I don't define myself or rule myself by status quo. I make my own decisions based on my own inspiration and my own feelings of what is right and wrong.
And yes, I'm the older sister, but can you see how I can be inspired by her continually? Because I know it can be a common trap for us women to worry about what other people think. And, oh, maybe because it's been successful for them, maybe I should do that too. But Britta's really good about saying, gut check, like, is this what is right for me and my family and the way we do things? And it's inspiring. It's awesome. It is very beautiful.
Thank you. It's not always easy. I may not get invited to all the cool parties, but that's not what I need to feel happy and fulfilled. And I just enjoy spending time with my family and my husband. And that's what matters to me most, is that they know that they're loved and cared for, and that I know that they don't care when I'm walking around in my pajamas without any makeup on and my hair not washed for a few days, and they still see the beauty because it's more than just what I look like.
Yeah, for sure. So then to add to that, how do you let your light shine? And again, as a reminder, this is a lot more to do with our divine purpose, like what you feel God leading you to be and become, let alone, or not so much like having a job or a career or anything like that?
Sure. I like being a good neighbor. I'm not always the best neighbor, but we live in a little bit of an older area, and I like to make sure that our neighbors around us feel thought of. My neighbors are very good at wanting to serve others, and I am humble enough to be able to let them serve me, but also turn around and show gratitude back to them in a way where they know that what they've done is appreciated and seen. And I really love to make sure that my neighbors know that they're cared for and that I'm someone that they can talk to if they need to.
My observation is that they feel very seen and known by you, which is big, especially when you are in the silver years of your life and you're wondering, do I still have purpose and what is it? But to be seen, like she's even taught this shining light example to her third son. He is the most loving individual ever. And his legit best friend is one of these silver-eared ladies. And he invites her to his birthday party every year. And when she
when
makes
he gets home from school, can Marianne come over?
Yeah,
like that's his friend. He wants this over 50-year-old woman to come over and play after school. Like it's the sweetest thing. And she never had any children of her own, and so she just adores my boy. And he's such an old sweet soul. He teaches me a lot about love.
It's so special. I love having families because, you're deep in the trenches with them and learning a lot about how to love. But then you also, like those lessons about love can also be so beautiful and inspiring and just leave you almost breathless with awe, Yeah.
When I say my neighborhood, that doesn't always mean just the people that live around me. Like when I'm at the farmer's market, it can be my neighbors that are around me at the farmer's market. I like to reach out and make sure that I know they're supported there and that they're being thought of. And yeah.
Yay. I love my sister.
Love you too.
Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, of course.